Hello, and welcome to the Chaplain's Corner After Hours. I'm your host, Chaplain Warren, and we're going to do something a little bit different today in reflection on the events of July 13th, the attempted assassination of President Trump. We're recording this on July 15th, just 2 days after that event. Now, we won't talk about the details of what happened because there are plenty of other places to get that information. The thing I want to talk about, and it's certainly personal for me, and I suspect it's personal for a whole lot of people, and that's the fact we knew this was coming. We knew that the left was going to do this because everything else they've tried to do against President Trump has failed. And so we knew this was coming. Tucker Carlson even talked about it on one of his shows, or maybe more than one. Megyn Kelly has talked about this on her show. And I think both of them interviewed President Trump and even brought this up to him. Many of us knew that this was coming because we've watched since May 2015 when the Trumps came down the escalator in Trump Tower to announce his candidacy. We've seen the constant character assassination attempts of the left. We've seen the photo of the lunatic comedian Kathy Griffith holding Trump's bloody head in her hand as if it had been severed from him. After he was elected, we went through Russiagate, the Ukraine phone hoax, the impeachment hoax, the circus of trials, trying to indict him, trying to convict him of civil and felonies. We knew that with none of this working, none of this breaking him down, that they were going to take the next step. And so they've done it. And so now the question is, what will they do next? What will they try next? And when will they try it? The second comment I'd like to make is that despite the horrendous things that happened on July 13th, there was one bright spot, unfortunately, and that is there was a real American hero in the crowd that turned out to see President Trump. And that hero was a man by the name of Corey Comparatori, a true hero. He was a man who was 50 years old. He had a wife and a daughter. And he took his wife and daughter to the rally to see President Trump. And when the shots started ringing out, Corey jumped on top of his wife and his daughter with his body to protect them from the threat. And in doing that, he was hit by a bullet, and he was killed. Corey Comparatori was truly a godly man. It's reported that he was a devout Christian who went to church every Sunday. But that doesn't matter because by your fruits you are judged. And by his fruits, Corey is judged a godly man. Because let us read from Ephesians chapter 5. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22. Wives, submit to your own husbands as to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church. Now, a lot of women don't like that Bible verse. And radical feminists absolutely hate that Bible verse. But the interesting thing is, they never ever seem to read down to verse 25, which talks about the husbands. Because verse 25 says, "Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Jesus Christ sacrificed himself for the redemption of all mankind to form the earthly body of Christ, the church. On July 13th, Corey Comparatori sacrificed himself for his wife and for his daughter. He didn't have to think about it. He didn't have time to think about it. It was an instinct that all real men have. And it's that instinct to protect the innocent, the weak, and particularly to protect one's spouse and one's children, and give one's life, if necessary, for that protection. God bless Corey Comparatori, God bless his wife, and God bless his daughter. Now, the third comment I'd like to make is, almost immediately after the assassination, the failed assassination attempt, we started hearing about calls that we all need to come together. Even people on the left, particularly politicians, got on the air as soon as they could to say, oh, this is a time where we all need to come together. Conservatives should not act out in anger at what has happened. Church leaders, some of them who lead denominations that have adopted the whole leftist ideology of homosexuality, homosexual marriage, transgenderism, transgender mutilation, they have also come out and said, oh, we all need to come together. And then finally, even President Joe Biden, on a July 14th address to the nation, said, this is a time where we all need to come together. Well, it turns out that I actually agree with that. Yeah, I agree. This is a time to come together, because as a nation, we've been divided. We've been divided and sliced and diced in every way possible. And so, yeah, I certainly agree that this is a time where we need to come together. But when you look at what has happened to this nation over the last 10, 15 years or so, there's going to be a price. There's got to be a price for us to come together. And the price that's required for us to come together, and I'm talking to people on the left, and I'm talking to rhinos also. You know who you are. The price that's got to be paid in order for us to come together is, particularly you on the left, you need to go into the voting booth on November 5th and you need to vote for Donald Trump for president. Because Donald Trump is the only contender running for president who can unite this nation. You know that's true. You know deep down in your guts that that's true. And you know deep down in your guts that none of the leaders on the leftist side of the political divide can unite this nation. In fact, they don't even want to. Their agenda is to divide this nation. By dividing us, they make us weak, and they give themselves the opportunity to rule over us like dictators. And so I agree with all of you. We need to come together. But the price is Donald Trump has to be elected president to make it happen. So lefties and rhinos, the ball is in your court.